Hello, everyone, again, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Vinyl Community Guncles. This time we are tackling the tops and bottoms of the music for the year 2015. So we'll talk about our favorites and least favorites. A lot of great music in 2015. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I am Robert Fifth, and along with Mike from Hubtunes, Richard from Calvin Wazoo, and ladies and gentlemen, the man who is planning on having a sweet bitch in his mouth tonight. So that'll be fun. Or some sweet bitch. Greg from Greg's Vinyl Plethora. Sweet bitch is apparently a drink that he's drinking.
She's fabulous.
Sounds delicious.
It actually is really good. I thought it was going to be really sweet, but it's
think.
But it's not as sweet as I was thinking it was going
more
to be.
bitch than sweet.
It's more bitch than sweet.
Just like you.
So who's first discussing the music of 2015? How exciting.
Well, I guess I can go first. And there were a lot of events of various, some happy, some not so happy, because we can start off January 1st, 2015. You remember Donna Douglas?
Oh, yeah.
Ellie Mae Clampett.
Oh,
She
yeah.
died at the age of 81 on January 1st. And then January 11th, Anita Ekberg died at 83. Now, she was immortalized in a Bob Dylan song. Do you remember what Bob Dylan song it was that he sang about Anita Ekberg?
No.
Leave your comments in the Down Under.
Yeah, I don't know who Anita Ekberg is. So.
She the one in the leopard
She was in La Dolce Vita, famous for her scene at the Trevi Fountain. She was a sex goddess, a
whore.
No, she was a sex symbol.
No, sex symbol. Okay, not a whore.
Not a sex whore.
No, okay, all right.
Well, speaking
you.
of a sex whore, nice segue there. February 5th, Gary Glitter is convicted in London of child sexual abuse, including raping a girl younger than 13. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
We don't need that story.
February 15th, the Brit Music Awards. Guess what won Best Single? It was...
Gary Glitter.
Gary Glitter, there you go.
Oh, my.
Rock on.
Uptown Funk won Best Single.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, another death. Leslie Gore at 68. It was cancer. She, of course, sang "It's My Party." And also,
she was young. She was young. I didn't realize she was that young. I thought she was older.
It was cancer. "You Don't Own Me" was another hit of hers, which was revived in the 1996 film Do You Know It?
It was revived in the 1987 film Dirty Dancing.
Okay.
By the Blow Monkeys.
I didn't know that one. What
about
the 1996
I remember the
film?
Blow. It was also revived.
That was the wedding one, wasn't it? Muriel's wedding?
No. It's an MGF, man. You guys have to know this. It's a mandatory gay film.
Leslie Gore was gay, right?
Club. First
Wives Club, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
why in the hell is that a gay movie? It's about what? Anyway, Leslie Gore.
Because of all the gay icons in it, basically. Yeah. Bette Midler.
I don't even know who's in it.
Bette Midler is in it. Then also in 2015, that song was revived by an artist named Grace. Grace, I think is it, or I might have her name wrong, but that single came out this year too. Another version of "You Don't Own Me."
Just a timeless single.
With Jay-Z or whatever his name is.
It is timeless.
Yeah. February 27th, Leonard Nimoy, dead at 83.
Dead.
Jesus, you're bringing me down.
Richard likes to depress us.
Richard can't be first anymore.
He bring us down. don't bring us down, Richard.
I'm sorry, but this is the reality. Our rock and roll icons, our music icons. Starting.
Gary Glitter is our icon.
They start dropping like flies. I tell you. Marvin Gaye's family.
You've
March
actually.
10th.
Robert is actually hiding behind his jukebox.
He does
He's
not
so
want
scared
to.
right now.
He's so upset about the dead people.
All right. This is the Death Note episode.
Behind the jukebox.
March 10th, Marvin Gaye's family wins a $7.3 million copyright
The touch.
infringement
Leonard
against
Nimoy.
Oh my
Pharrell.
God.
Oh, all right, Leonard.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
do it.
I
Anyway,
can't believe it.
Marvin Gaye's family, I mean, they already murdered him. Why are they winning a $7.3 million lawsuit against
Visuals.
Pharrell Williams, Robin Thicke, and T.I.? What was the copyright infringement about? You remember what song?
It had
was-
it had Got to Give It Up sampled in it.
It didn't have it sampled. It
Well,
sort of had the sound of it.
Oh, yeah.
And, with the same kind of cowbell and the same groove, and it was called Blurred Lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
Couple more deaths here. Sorry. April 1st, it was Cynthia Lennon, John's first wife.
Oh.
And then on April 14th, it was Percy Sledge, age 73.
I thought he died way before that.
Better news, April 17th, John Coltrane won a posthumous special citation by the Pulitzer Award. So that was pretty cool. And then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees that year, April 18th. It's weird. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is just nothing to me anyway. So they had the Paul Butterfield Blues Band. All right, it's 2015, and it's the Paul Butterfield
They should have been in like 20 years before that.
Green Day, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Lou Reed, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, Bill Withers, again, it's 2015, the Five Royals, 2015, and we're finally getting the Five Royals in, and then Ringo Starr was inducted. Day after my birthday.
Right.
Yeah. Day after my birthday, one of my favorite actors, Omar Sharif, dead at 83. But on August 12th, for the second time, the post office commemorates Elvis Presley with a postage stamp.
There was this.
I have some of them.
Yeah.
I have a tie with it on there.
I just remember the.
Yeah, I
one
still
from
have some of
90s.
those stamps. I don't know where they are though. I put them in a book.
Oh,
somewhere.
wow. I don't know if they're worth anything.
Probably not.
August 30th, Wes Craven, dead at 76.
Oh, my Wes.
And September 4th, Gene Darling, dead at 93. Do you remember who Gene Darling is?
No.
He was Gene from
Lou Reed.
Little Rascals.
Oh, the little
Okay.
rascal.
All right. Now let's.
You're thinking of Candy,
That-
darling.
that's not music.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay, come on.
All right.
He was 118.
The 30th anniversary of Farm Aid was held in Chicago, September 19th.
I went.
By the way, Mavis Staples performed at that show as well. October 24th, Maureen O'Hara, dead at 95. But then, November 18th, Willie Nelson received
Dead.
Also
a
dead.
library. Oh, well, when he dies, poor Keith Richards. What will he do? He won a Library of Congress Gershwin Prize Award at the Thomas Jefferson Building. He was given. That's where he was given it in Washington D.C. I did not know that about Willie Nelson getting that Library of Congress Gershwin Award. Big deal. And December 7th, last one here, David Bowie makes his final public appearance at the opening of his musical Lazarus, not Lazarus. All right, so those are the events. Yes.
Wow.
Sorry to bring you down, but it's only castles burning. All right. Now, for albums, I don't have very many from 2015. So I ended up going through and listening to albums. And so I have a list of my honorable mentions, or really records I would like to bring into the collection, because they sounded pretty good when I gave them a listen. And the first one was by Blur, The Magic Whip. This apparently was an album comeback for them because, the different members were doing different projects already. I mean, Gorillaz had already been going on. There were other things that were going on, but they came together for this album, and it's a pretty good album. I enjoyed listening to it. Marilyn Manson made kind of a comeback with The Pale Emperor. I kind of
a good
enjoyed that
record.
album too.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good.
Oh, that makes Fithin's mouth
You got
dry.
Cottonmouth there.
Yeah.
Take a
There
sip
is
of
a
water.
this Psych electronic album from the guy from Animal Collective, Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper.
Oh,
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a very cool album. I certainly need to check that out. And then the Black Sorrows is this Australian guy. He had a record called Endless Sleep, Chapter 47. He's a
Oh, I
blues
wonder-
rock, kind of Elvis-like, and that was pretty good. Of course, in the innumerable albums by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, they came out with the album Quarters, which is 4 songs. Each one of them is roughly 10 minutes each. So 2 on each side.
They're all exactly 10 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
What a gimmick.
Quarters.
Yeah.
Then Sister Sparrow and the Dirty Birds came out with a record called The Weather Below. This is kind of a funky neo-soul band. Sounded pretty good. They're from Brooklyn. Neil Young came out with the Monsanto Years. And I mean, it's a Neil Young album.
Yeah.
He's just grinding out on that guitar, and his singing isn't all that great, but Jesus, he's getting to be an old man.
I forgot about that album.
Yeah. Then the Chemical Brothers came out with Born in the Echoes. I was listening to that. That's a pretty good dance album. And because Chemical Brothers can sound dated, especially some of their early stuff can just really come off as dated. This one was still pretty good. Tame Impala had the record Currents, which has kind of a Pet Shop Boys feel. Oh, yeah. Very cool cover that they got on that record.
It's a great cover.
A little bit of a Pet Shop Boys feel, in my opinion, but it's more ethereal. Yeah. And this was an interesting one. I really enjoyed this. This is like probably my favorite one that I listened to. It's by a guy named Frank Turner, and the album is Positive Songs for Negative People.
Yeah, I remember that.
I need that.
Isn't he the lead singer of a band?
Well, he could go from playing, just acoustic guitar folk to, punk, and garage rock. I mean, I loved some of the lines in his songs. We can get better because we're not dead yet. I mean, that's just what a line. I could have been anyone, but I ended up being me. What a great line there. They're kind of similar to Frightened Rabbit, if you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
So those were some albums that I gave a listen to, and my first impression is, these are pretty good albums. I wouldn't mind bringing them in. But the 4 albums I do have from the year, the first one is this one by Amdu Mukhtar, which is a soundtrack.
I don't have that.
Akunak Tadalat Taha Tazugai, which translates as rain the color blue with a little red. He was, he is heavily influenced, and he admits it, by Prince. So
is that one mostly acoustic?
No, it's mostly electric.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't have that one.
It's not a great pressing, but it's a good album. Then Teens of Style came out from Car Seat Headrest, which is a compilation, but it's you might be thinking, Mike, of Teens of Denial. All right, this is Teens of Style, which is a collection of songs that were unreleased, that were only available digitally on Bandcamp. And
what is it? I have Teens of Denial. This came out.
You're thinking of Teens of Denial. This is Teens of Style.
This came out though, didn't it? The same year?
That didn't come out until.
Crap! I gotta take that out of my.
Well, that's not on your list, is it? Mm-hmm.
I love that record. I was gonna tell a story about how you turned me onto it.
Yeah. Well, this is when they signed with Matador. They needed to get a record right away. So what he did is he went back to his old digital collection and put together this album. It's a pretty good album. It's definitely got some good songs on there. Proto Martyr.
Oh yeah.
This is the Agent Intellect. They're kind of a industrial hardcore punk.
Yeah. Isn't this the band that used to be called Viet Cong and then realized that was a bad idea?
I do not know.
And they changed.
They're from Detroit.
Yeah, I think it's
Detroit.
the same band.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Detroit.
And then while we didn't talk about this album, we reviewed one of his albums. That it was one that Mike suggested, and that's this one here with John Grant, Gray Tickles, Black Pressure.
Yeah,
very cool with two albums, one with that color, and then the other one is a lavender. I really, really do enjoy that.
You need to get some of them.
I think
but yeah, those are my tops for that year. And by the way, the Bob Dylan song that immortalized Anita Ekberg, I Shall Be Free, from the Freewheeling Bob Dylan.
Oh, okay. I don't listen to that all that much.
Just in case if you want.
I will now.
Listen to it at all.
All right, so we go from albums to singles as we go from Richard from Calvin Wazoo to Craig of Craig's Vinyl Plethora.
A plethora.
Top singles of 2015.
Okay.
At least according to Craig.
According to me, and really that's all that matters, is my opinion when it comes to singles. Right? Well, on here, yeah.
Doing singles, yeah.
I am the only one that's doing singles. I have a few honorable mentions, not as many as I normally do. 2015, there weren't a lot of great singles. I think albums probably more so, but I wanted to kind of stick with my singles. So Dave Gahan and the Soul Savers did Shine.
Yeah.
I think that was the second or third album they did together.
God, that's a great album.
It's really, really great.
That's the best one of them all.
Yeah, it's really. And I have that one, but Junior, and they had a song called Gone, which is really great. LP, I feel like she's very underrated, and a lot of people don't know who she is. I think Lori, I can't remember what her actual name is, but LP had a song called Lost on You, and basically how my life is pathetic because I gave everything up for you because I'm lost. I lost it all because of you.
I can't believe you'd like a song like that.
Of course I would. And I know you believe it. So this is more interesting, and we've mentioned him before because he's a douche nozzle, and maybe I like to believe maybe he's not anymore, but he did make some really great records and have some really great songs. But Ryan Adams released an album this year, and the single I'm referring to is Bad Blood. Ryan Adams released an album called 1989, which so did Taylor Swift released an album called 1989. Because
it's his tribute to the Strokes.
No, he covered Taylor Swift's entire record of 1989. Yes, which is very. Had you not known, I mean, maybe you guys who listened to it, maybe you haven't heard Taylor Swift's 1989.
No.
You know I have, but if you listen to it, you would never know that it was her material. He created it and made it into this acoustic. Not quite a masterpiece, but what he did with
I remember liking it.
This like really pop record. And I was reading somewhere where she actually took some of the like changes and stuff that he did to the songs, and she put that into like her concert performance and stuff because she was so impressed with what he did.
Yeah, she liked it. Man.
So I just thought that was very interesting that someone would do that, especially an artist like Ryan Adams covering an artist like Taylor Swift. And I really, I like it. I actually have the album. Belle and Sebastian, they had kind of like their dancey pop record that year. Girls in Wartime, Do Something. But their first single off that record was Nobody's Empire. George Ezra, I think his second record came out that year, and this is the single Barcelona, which is really good. There's something about George's voice. It's so deep and rich and beautiful. And then Brandon Flowers, had a single called I Can Change. And what's interesting about that is he actually samples and pulls in Small Town Boy, Bronski Beat, and kind of throws it in here. It's a very interesting song. I don't know that I love it. I don't know that I hate it. So that's why it's kind of it's a mention. And now we're into the top 10. Number 10, Who is Fancy? That's the artist's name, who later went by just Fancy and then went by Fancy Hardgrove because that's his real last name. And then now I think he's just Hardgrove now. So he is a pop vocalist, but he did a single that year with Ariana Grande and Meghan Trainor called Boys Like You. So they're talking about why do they always fall in love with the bad pieces of shit, the boys like you. And I like it. And I thought the three of them were very good. And this is before Ariana blew up and everybody knows her name now. So they got back together this year, did another album, Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard with It's All Going to Pot. And the whole record is fantastic. Number 8 is she was on The Voice. She's very quirky and I love her. Melanie Martinez with Soap. She's going to have to wash her mouth out with soap because she says, I love you too much. So this one, I wanted to use another song. So let me ask a question. So if it was never released as a single, but then ended up becoming number 1 on the country charts and number 20 on the Hot 100, still it wasn't released as a single though. So
well, I mean, we're into 2015 where physical releases aren't really as big of a deal as like something from the 80s or something. I mean, if it's on the singles chart, then it's pretty much a single, even if there isn't a physical.
Even though it wasn't actually released.
Yeah, that's kind of like the Macarena, was never a single, but obviously that's a huge hit.
Yeah, it is huge. Yeah.
Okay. So. And you can do whatever you want.
I can do whatever I want. Yeah. So I am going to mention the actual.
You did mention I Will from the Beatles one time, and that wasn't a single.
It said it was when I was looking, so it must have been on the charts and not released as a single.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. It was in the. I will find that and show you and prove it because I wouldn't have said it. Oh Lord Jesus. Okay, so
sweet bitch is starting to hit her.
The sweet bitch is getting me good. All right, thank you.
Sweet bitch is getting better.
Y'all know I'm more bitch than sweet. Okay, let's see. Where were we at? Okay, so I'm going to mention the single because I did have that on my list, but I am going to mention the song that went number 1. So it's Chris Stapleton. He's one of the newer country artists. He was in a band prior to this. I cannot remember the name right now. He is one of the newer country artists that I actually really like because he's bluesy and he's more than country to me. When I hear it, I hear more than country. And his wife sings most of the harmonies with him, and just their voices together are just absolutely beautiful. So the single was Traveler, but the song that went number 1, which I love probably more than Traveler, is Tennessee Whiskey. And that song is and it's been covered by everybody, but I think that song is just it. Number 6. So this was the first thing, actually might have been the only single off this record. It was her last album to date that's been released. But Janet Jackson and No Sleep. We ain't gonna get no sleep. They're gonna be humping all night. That's why they ain't gonna get no sleep. We ain't gonna get no. This chair is a good bouncy chair for dancing. All right. You're welcome. Number
was it the Johnson brothers or the Steel Drivers that Stapleton was in?
Steel Drivers.
Okay.
So, yeah. And they were like kind of almost more bluegrassy.
Yeah, they were blue. He was in both of those actually. They're not.
Oh, was he in both of them? Okay. Let's see. Number 5. It said, I feel like I have a lot of collaborations on this list, I guess. So this was. I can't remember what band he was from, but the guitarist Blake Sennett was from The Elected and Rilo Kiley, and they only did one album. They turned out they didn't like each other. But the Night Terrors of 1927, they did a song with Tegan and Sarah, and it's called When You Were Mine. And I love the way Tegan and Sarah is like up there as like one of my favorites of all time. And just the way their voices blend with his and Blake's and the harmonies and everything. It's just a really beautiful song. Number 4, Steve Martin and Edie Brickell released their second album. The first single off of that was called Won't Go Back. And I'm never, 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 never going back. And I love that song and I love that album. And I think they were really great together. This song, number 3, I adore this woman. Number 3, I adore her so much. So many people should be more aware of her. And that is Melody Gardot. And she was more like a jazzy, like her first couple of records. And then this third one, she kind of added more like electric guitars and and really went off like in her lyrical like expression. And she did a song called Preacher Man, which is just fucking fantastic. Number 2, this was their second album when they got back together after Beautiful South, and that's Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott and The Austerity of Love. And my number 1, which I can't remember, it's kind of weird, but my number 1 is Will Butler's Anna. And that's just, the song's just fantastic, so. And Will Butler,
that band Junior that you mentioned, they were originally called Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
they were forced to change their name.
I actually knew that, and because I was like, I know this song and I know this name, but I'm like, that's not what I had originally.
And I went in because I really liked their debut album, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see this band. And I literally walked into the club that they were playing. I swear these kids were 16. They looked like they were 15, 16 years old.
Wow,
I was like, what is going on? And I wasn't that old back then, 2015. I was just like, man, I felt ancient when I walked out of that show. But they were really good. I think they're still around too.
All right, so 2015, I've got albums. I actually ended up with 40 albums because unlike 2011, I actually knew some of these albums beforehand and was listening to them way back when. So I added a lot of those, and I listened to about 25 more that I wasn't familiar with. So it ended up being about 40 albums. And I don't really have any bottoms that are just horrible. I just have some stuff that really wasn't as good as the others, and then some stuff that wasn't for me. So I decided to make the break where the printer made the break between the 2 pages. So it's the printer's fault if something's on the... But really, they're not bottoms. But anyway, so I have a top 15, and then I have a bunch of honorable mentions, which include some kind of electronic kind of stuff, that I'm not usually into, but I thought this was pretty good. Jamie XX in Color. I had seen that, or maybe it's Jamie 20. I don't know. It's XX. In Color, I had seen that cover so many times with the big rainbow spiral on it. And this was right when, 2015 is right when the vinyl resurgence was just really getting big. And people were really, the mainstream people were starting to get vinyl again. Myself included, was getting interested in it. And again, had been for a couple of years at this point. And this was an album cover that I would see all the time, so I wanted to check it out back then. And I remember it being pretty good. I liked it a lot more than I liked a lot of music like that. Clutch, Psychic Warfare. I used to really like Clutch. I don't think their later stuff is that good, and this is one of them. It's just kind of a little more mainstream, a little less weird and way out there. I like the way out there Clutch a little more, like Escape from the Prison Planet and stuff like that came in the late 90s, but Psychic Warfare is okay. All Them Witches, Dying Surfer Meets His Maker. I really like their other albums more. Again, this is okay, but I like all that, whatever that one is that I have. I can't even remember the name of it. All That Something. But love that one. But this one's a little more just kind of straightforward. My Morning Jacket, The Waterfall. Again, decent, okay, but nothing great. Leon Bridges, Coming Home. This is a guy, Grammy darling. Richard brought up the Grammys. And it's kind of like, this is a Grammy. You hear this and you're like, Grammy, because it sounds old. You can see all the 100-year-old Grammy voters going, oh, like that. And that's the problem. It's very throwback. It doesn't offer anything new. It sounds like something from 1966. He's a combination of if Sam Cooke would have recorded for Brunswick Records, it would sound like this. He's a kind of a cross between Sam Cooke and like Jackie Wilson or something. But the problem is, it sounds great. It's a great listen, but it doesn't offer anything new. It's like a.
It's the one with the red cover, right?
red
Yeah,
cover and
I
he's
Yeah,
kind of
almost
standing
I
there.
remember.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I almost
Yeah, that was a
mentioned
huge
him.
record.
Yeah, and I didn't really hear much about him after that. He kind of, but why would if you're not gonna
He just
grow and
released an
develop?
album
Why
a couple
you know?
last year or the year before. He just released an
Yeah,
album,
he's
and
still
it's a
around.
gold cover.
Yeah. The OCs, Mutilator Defeated at Last. I really liked their one from 2011. I wasn't familiar with them at all. This one is again, it's kind of a theme here. It's going more mainstream. I think they're on a major label now, and all of their like awkward truth that I love so much in their lyrics of the 2011 one is gone, and it's just kind of now we're quirky, now we're kind of awkward, but it's not necessarily biting lyrics. Those are gone, and that's what I loved about the other one from 2011. So I wasn't that impressed with the new OC, or not the new one, the one from 8 years ago. 21 Pilots, Blurry Face. Was familiar with that back then. Played Stressed Out on the radio all the time, and Rise somewhat, but clever lyrics. I love their lyrics, but their music is kind of, it's that top 40 pop stuff that I'm not really big into. I don't know what they've done since then. Fuzz is back with Fuzz 2. Love the artwork for their first album. They've kind of got that Black Sabbath kind of, vibe going on, like a lot of groups did back then. Trying to
I
bring
forgot
back
about them.
big, huge
Yeah, I
rock
liked both
riffs.
those records. Those were good records.
Fuzz
Yeah,
2 was
I forgot.
pretty good. Los Lobos had an album out called Gates of Gold. I had no idea. Just heard that for the first time a couple weeks ago. And it's decent. It's not groundbreaking. It's not blowing me away, but it's Los Lobos. I love the familiarity of the guy's voice, but it's not their best at all. But it's okay. Motorhead. This is a year where a lot of the harder rock bands are giving us their final release, and Motorhead is one of those with Bad Magic. Lemmy's on there, and he's old. You can tell in his voice, but he's giving it his all. I mean, as Lemmy always does, or always did. You can hear it in his voice. He's aged, but, the lyrics are more retrospective of his life, and they're not as, it's all about him, a lot of them, and trying to carry on as a rock star, and all this kind of stuff. So it's really interesting. Blur, the Magic Whip. Okay, it's not the greatest Blur, but it's all right. I enjoyed it. Love the album artwork with the kind of neon light ice cream cone. That was pretty cool, but didn't blow me away or anything, so it didn't make my top 15. And Uncle Acid with the Night Creeper. Love that Uncle Acid from 2011. This one is more of a straight ahead kind of concept album. It's all about more of a Jack the Ripper type character. The album artwork is I cannot, and I try to look it up. The album artwork is homage to some horror movie from the early 70s with the outline of the guy in the hat, but I can't remember what it is. But it's all right. I definitely love the 2011 one more.
Yeah, both those albums are pretty good.
What is the album?
The Night Creeper. But yeah, I love the guy's vocals. I love the guitar.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a full review on my Instagram if you want to check that out. What's that?
It's a London Bobby on the cover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that outline of that in the shadow like that is a horror movie from the 70s. It's probably an English horror movie, but
it looks familiar, but
so my top 15, you've got and I was not going to listen to this because I was going to judge a book by its cover.
Oh.
And thought she was some sort of indie pop little girl sitting there with an acoustic guitar. Turns out that's not what it was at all. Courtney Barnett. And sometimes I sit and think. Sometimes I just sit.
She's great.
Number 15. It was.
I
really
knew you would like
surprising.
it if you listened to it because we talked about it last week.
Right, yeah,
it was off camera, and I was like, "Give it a chance, give it a chance."
Yeah, I was not going to listen because I am not a fan. I figured one thing out doing these new things. I am not a fan of indie pop. I don't care about
I don't even know what it
girls
is.
with an acoustic guitar. Well, indie pop used to mean independent music, and over the years, it's gone away from that definition, and it's now more of a sound.
Yeah.
And I just don't care about the girl with the acoustic guitar. I don't care about the jangle rock band singing about the girl in the green sweater and having a beer. I just don't like that kind of music. I don't. Gin Blossoms and Toad the Wet Sprocket and Jayhawks and Sister Hazel. I'm not into it. It took a long time to kind of realize that. Okay, so what are we now? Number 14 is one that I actually have. It's Ghost. with Meliora, and I just love their gimmick. With the priest that keeps changing, or the satanic pope that keeps changing, and they're a whole aura. But I don't like this album as much as I like Prequel, which is what got me started on them. Here's the wonderful. Oh, this is just black vinyl. Yeah, I don't even have a cool record. It's just black vinyl. But
we were just in Chicago.
Cut that out.
Yeah, I don't like black
They
vinyl.
were in Chicago last weekend.
For new releases. That's why I don't have a lot of new records. Is because the record stores I went to at the time, they would all have the black. I'm like, I want some. I have thousands of black vinyl. I want some color in my life. But yeah, I like Prequel better than Meliora, big time. And was kind of disappointed, but it was good enough to be number 15. Number 14, Craig mentioned it. Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard teaming up again for "It's All Going to Pot," and great to see those two together again.
So
again,
good.
you know exactly what you're. It's exactly what you expect it is. They're not like, oh my God, I'm so shocked that, it's exactly what you think. But I did like the way that they teamed up more on this album than they did on Pancho and Lefty. I remember hearing the Pancho and Lefty album from, I think, 82. And for those that aren't familiar with that, it's like 3 songs are Willie and Merle together, and the rest are like,
separate.
Willie does his songs and Merle does his. And it's kind of like, oh, that's cheating. That's a little, I don't know about that. But, yeah, so and then more country after that with Chris Stapleton and Traveler. Yeah, I thought that was really good. I love the bluesiness, like Craig said, especially the last song on there where he just breaks free of all the country boundaries and just goes full on blues singer. Chris Stapleton. I wanted to find out more about some other country people that were popular, but this is where the bro country is in full force, and you've got Florida Georgia Line and Luke Bryan and Cut Off sent the river down by the lake in my 4x4. It's every song is the same.
With my dog.
Dogs aren't really in country though. That's kind of I don't know a lot of bro country is cutoffs. Girl, every woman is referred girl looking good in them cutoffs with the 6-pack on the tailgate and down by the lake on a dirt road. That is every
enjoy dirt roads.
Every bro
Sounds
country
like
song.
the start to a teenage slasher movie.
Yeah,
I mean, God, girl, you looking good in them cutoffs. Anyway, Chris Stapleton does not sound like that. But Cage the Elephant,
brilliant.
Tell Me I'm Pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I was familiar with Mess Around. That was on the radio. Played that for like 2 weeks, and that was it. But yeah, they were. I thought that whole album was pretty decent. I was kind of surprised by that. I'm not usually into the pop stuff, the full-on radio stuff like that. But that was pretty nice. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They had 2 albums out this year. I definitely preferred Paper Mache Dream Balloon. This Australian group. Every album, I don't know how. First of all, how do they come up with so many albums, and then how do they do them where they all sound different? This sounds
so
nothing
different.
like Nonagon Infinity or whatever. This sounds nothing like their other album that was out that year called Quarters.
Did Paper Mache Dream Balloon come out? Because I had that record.
It's they had 2 from this year, and that's the other one. This is more of a flute kind of majestic kind of pop sweet stuff, and I loved it.
That's the one I like. And then I
where
went
am
to
I?
buy one of their other records, and it was like a thrash metal album. And I was like, wait, what happened?
Right. Everything
it's
sounds
crazy.
completely different.
I mean, good for them.
Oh, I don't have that one. Okay.
So at number 9, I've got John Grant, Gray Tickles, Black Pressure. Gray Tickles is a phrase where you're turning an age where you start seeing little gray hairs and little gray flecks. That's what Gray Tickles is. I'm not sure what Black Pressure is, but yeah, we reviewed his. I think that was the first album we ever reviewed, wasn't it?
Yeah,
first
it
or
was
second.
my pick. Yeah,
That wasn't. That was a different one. That was the one where he's sitting at the bar.
Pale Green Ghost.
Yeah, Pale Green Ghost, where he's sitting
Green
at the
Ghost,
table.
My favorite record of his. Still,
I like this one more.
this one's good. This one's a little more upbeat, a little more positive, a little more sarcastic.
Oh, sarcastic, I would say. I don't know. I didn't think it was positive, but he's got some great lyrics. It's too long. They should have cut off about 3 or 4 songs and really made a stellar album. There's some throwaway stuff on there, but the opening tracks, especially the first 2 or 3, are just great. I love the lyrics. I love his whole approach and everything. So yeah, John Grant, Gray Tickles, Black Pressure. Number 8, Pussifer, Money Shot. That's the Maynard,
Maynard, I
offshoot.
forgot about that record.
I did too.
Bizarre cover where I think the guy's just been punched in the crotch by some woman on her knees or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good stuff on there. I love some of the lyrics on there. You talk like you've never been punched in the face. You talk like you've never been knocked the fuck out. I've said that for years. This is what's wrong with social media: is nobody can get punched in the fucking face, and that's why people act like they do on social media. That's the problem. You wouldn't walk up and say that some shit like that to somebody in a bar. They'd punch you in the fucking mouth. But you can say whatever you want. Be a badass. Type.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Anyway, I digress. Pussifer and Money Shot. Prince with Hit and Run Phase 1. Now here is an album that people hated. I saw half-star reviews of this when it first came out and didn't listen to it for the longest time. But it's not awesome, but I give it a little extra because he's passed away. It's Prince. You know, you hear his voice and you're like, oh, Prince. But yeah, he came out with Phase 1 and Phase 2 this year. I definitely prefer Phase 1.
I think they're both great, but Phase 1 is better. But
Phase 1 is a little funkier and a little more like the Prince that I like.
Is that the one is Phase 1 have Breakfast in Bed, or is that on Phase 2?
I think that's Phase 1, yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna have to check those out because I always thought those were greatest hits records.
No,
Is it one?
No, but he does have a lot of. I said check out Phase 1, but
I like both. But
it does have element like it starts off with the 1999 beginning where it's like, don't worry, I won't hurt you. It's like, am I listening to 1999 now? And then it goes into Dearly Beloved, we are gathered here today. It's like, dude, come on, don't be the Beatles. You don't have to self-reference.
Does that on several albums actually. The Dearly Beloved is also on Musicology.
That is, we just did that Beatles video. That's the most annoying thing about the Beatles. I can't stand the self-referencing that they're always doing. Like later on in their solo albums, they keep referencing the Beatles stuff, and I'm just like, just stop, guys. I thought you guys wanted to be solo artists and wanted to, and here you are constantly.
They were feeding the fans. They were feeding the beats.
Yeah, it sucked. I hate when they do that and singing song. And then John Lennon teams up with David Bowie. What's that song where he just says,
Fame?
"I read the news today, oh boy, Young America." It's like, why? Don't do that, Prince. Don't be the Beatles.
John Lennon ruined that album.
I had Muse with Drones up here. I think it's too high. I should have moved that down a little bit. I don't remember liking it more than Prince or Pussifer or John Grant or King Gizzard. I think it's up too high. But Drones from Muse is a concept album all about, a soldier that they turn into a drone or something. It's really dated at this point. It's like, really, that's what we're worried about? Drones? Dude.
I'm still worried.
You don't know what's coming.
It's probably one flying over my house now.
Yeah. Yeah, Muse is pretty good. Very melodic. It's got some memorable stuff in there.
I like them.
But yeah, so Muse, Drones, High on Fire. No. Luminiferous is their album. They are a metal band. Some members of the band Sleep, which is another one of those bands that kind of had that Black Sabbath kind of sound.
Yeah.
But that's more of a stoner rock thing, slower. Like this is not. This is aggressive metal. Very energetic. The lead singer, same guy from Sleep, his voice is just very ineffective and just straight aggression. It's none of this low Cookie Monster nonsense that I can't stand. It's definitely not that new metal bullshit that was out in the late 90s. Yeah, Cookie Monster. It's none of that.
I love it.
And this guy's a grandpa. I mean, he's killing it. I'd love to see what these guys do in concert.
He's old?
Yeah, he's old. He's like our age.
I'm my own grandpa.
But, yeah, thank you, Ray Stevens. High on Fire is their name, and I did a review on my Instagram where I went into more detail. But, yeah, I really like that. Let's see, number 4, Steven Wilson, Hand Cannot Erase. I like this even more than the Steven Wilson album that I have. It's progressive. You can definitely hear why he got the Yes thing, where he was able to remix their albums, or what he was the guy chosen for that project, and you can definitely tell he's got some Yes going on in there, but it doesn't sound like he's copying anything or what. It's his own thing. It's a great journey of music. Paying attention to the lyrics, you can get the concept. It's about basically it has to deal with this woman who everybody liked her, she had all kinds of friends, but then she died and no one cared and no one found her for days. And it's kind of like that contrast of who are you, do you really have friends? Do you really You know, if you have all these, you know, anyway, but it's a great album. Some long songs, but it's one of those you just have to sit on and pay full attention to. It's not a dishwashing, listen to the album in the background kind of thing. So we're up to the top 3, and the third is another band that, man, that's just going really long. The third is a band that is another one like Motorhead last album was in 2015, and that is Slayer. Number 3. We all love Slayer, right? No?
Yeah.
Repentless is the album, and wow, they didn't lose any of the energy, any of the aggression. They've got I mean, the lead singer Tom Araya is still screaming, and I was really surprised how good this was. I hadn't listened to it when it was first out, so I just heard this for the first time this week or last week. And I was really surprised how much I like this. The lyrics are a lot more mature, a lot less cartoonish than some of their earlier stuff. They're taking on, like, you know, the usual political stuff and the world's going to hell and that kind of thing. And there are some songs on there where they, you know, one of them describes a murder, where the guy is the murderer. I usually don't like murder songs. But this, if it's Slayer, it makes a little more sense. And I guess the guy that's murdered deserved it, so that's cool. But I don't like the Nick Cave murder ballad. I don't like murder ballads at all. I don't like any of that. I've mentioned that before. So that either makes me a contradiction or just a good old-fashioned hypocrite, one of the two. But yeah, just total.
Or both.
I would get this on a vinyl record. I would get the High on Fire, the Steven Wilson, and the Slayer on vinyl. They were so good. But it's interesting. I wish they would have put out an album a few years later. I would have loved to see what they would have thought, or what they would have, the angle they would have taken on what's going on in the world these days. You know, because they weren't afraid to go full on against Rush Limbaugh in a song in the late 90s called Ditto Head. So what would they have tackled? You know, what angle? Because you go against some of the stuff now, you're going to lose fans if you're a metal band. So it would have been interesting to see how they would have done that. But, you know, the guitarist passed away, and so they decided to just Jeff Hanneman, so they just decided to call it quits. 2 left. Number 2, Father John Misty, I Love You Honey Bear, another album I was completely unfamiliar with. With a name like that, I wasn't going to run right out in 2015 and do it, but wow, what lyrics.
He's so great.
Yeah.
And Father John Misty, I didn't know if this was like a religious, you know, if it was going to be another one of those, I'm tackling my religious, you know, conflict. I'm not into that, but wow. Loved it. Loved the lyrics. I love the line about the white soul singing. She was singing soul music with her soul affectations. It was annoying. It was like, yes, somebody finally called out these white suburban Laura Nero types that got to get up there and belt out the soul songs. I just listened to Culture Club Color by Numbers again for the first time in a long time again today, and that soul singer on there is a perfect, what's her name, Helen Terry. Oh my God, the woman, I cannot stand that.
I read that and I'm like, that's my favorite part of Black Money.
Fade it.
I love it.
Hit the mute.
I love that song so much.
It's like, that is completely unnecessary.
Wonderful.
She's okay in Church. It works for Church of the Poison Mind, but no, you can keep her off the other songs.
It's wonderful in Black
completely
Money.
Obnoxious. But enough about Culture Club from 1983. My number one has no. I go from a brilliant lyrics to an album with no lyrics, and it was my number one. And I never would have guessed that an instrumental album would have been number one. But yeah, Khruangbin and The Universe Smiles Upon You. I love that music. They've got their own sound.
I love them.
And at the same time, it's totally accessible. It is a dishwashing, clothes folding, have it on in the background thing, or it is a sit there, lay back with headphones on, give it your full attention thing. I love their one album with lyrics. It has a song Time on it. Can't even think of the name of it. It came out right before Texas Moon. But yeah, that's what got me introduced to them.
I love Texas Moon.
And I can't remember the name of that album, but that's my favorite. But this one is just as good. The music is just...
they're terrific.
I mean, it's infectious. It's just... I love it, and it's my number one of 2015.
Wow.
I'd get that on vinyl too. Well, I don't know. It's kind of you don't want to kind of doze off and have the needle going around and around on that, but you're not going to doze off to Slayer or On Fire.
Well, you might.
Yeah.
Shit.
Nightmares. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I
didn't realize that because I think I have that record, that Khruangbin record, and because I thought I have everything that.
What's the one right before?
Well, that's what I'm looking up to see their discography. But
and aren't they from Texas or something? Aren't they from like Austin? They don't sound like a Texas band either.
No, and with a name like Khruangbin, they sound like
they're from Texas, but,
from another country or something, which I think means airport. I think it translates to
airport. What was that album that you were talking about again?
Mordecai.
Mordecai, yeah.
Mordecai's my favorite.
I have that one. They also played at Lincoln Hall here in Chicago, and they recorded that show, and it is a official release.
The reason I don't have it is because I want one of two colors, and both of those color vinyls are. Did I just say the word vinyls? Are $85.
What you drinking, Robert?
Well, if you're talking about two different color vinyl records, would it still be okay to say color vinyls?
Would you say?
I don't think so.
An albino. You saw two deers. One was an albino, and no. Anyway, never mind.
I saw 6 deers.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody will tell us in the comments below.
I don't think there's an official Webster reference on the plural of vinyl. Maybe there is. All right.
Record.
I should have. I like that. The Universe Smiles Upon You as well, and
I'm going to check that one out because I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Well, stick with me. I'm really short of breath because I'm fighting the remains of COVID here. But I pulled 25 records from 2015. I was shocked. I could have pulled another 10 records. And I think Robert's right. This is kind of when the resurgence of vinyl started again, and all these bands started releasing vinyl, and I just remember being like, "Fuck yeah!" Because I always had vinyl, but new bands were releasing vinyl, so it was so exciting. So what I did, this time I divided my records. The last 10 are definitely going to be my favorites from the year. They're all really good, but the final 10 will be my favorites. This one is not a good record. This is a Chicago band. Immortalized by Disturbed. You will probably never see me do a Disturbed album.
Why do you have that?
Because it has Sound of Silence on it.
I hate their cover of that.
Oh my
it's so
God.
Terrible.
Oh my.
I absolutely love it.
Really? Wow, a lot of people do.
What? Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, I love it. This is a band called Unknown Mortal Orchestra. This is their third or fourth record. They're kind of an electronic psych band. This is really good. I forget the name of this actually. Mix something. Really interesting band. I've seen them live a couple of times. Next is Paul Weller from The Jam. He went solo again, and this is a terrific record. Saturn's Pattern, really, really good record. I like a lot of his solo stuff. Excellent stuff. I'm surprised. Well, this will be in your bottoms, I think, Robert. Sue Stevens, Carrie and Lowell. If you want to get depressed and listen to some really sad music, this is a depressing music.
It's like you know me or something.
I don't know. What is it? I can't imagine. Craig mentioned this. Will Butler's first solo album. He is the lead singer from lead singer. No, he's not the lead singer from Arcade Fire.
No,
he's his brother is.
Yeah, his brother.
This is a wonderful record. Really good. The whole thing. Anna is a great song that Craig mentioned. I love this record. I like this better than Arcade Fire, to be honest. I don't even own any Arcade Fire records. Well, maybe I have the Suburbs. But this is a great solo album by him. He's done a couple more since, I think, but I didn't
He's
like.
got a new
much.
one coming out. He's collaborated with some girls.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's Bill Butler and the something. I can't. The record's coming out like next month.
Yeah, and he's not in the band anymore, right? Didn't he leave officially?
Yeah, he left.
Yeah. Is he also the one that had some issues? Have we canceled him, or is that the other guy? Didn't one of them get canceled?
I think actually Wynn might have.
Is it the other guy? Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be his brother, but I'm not sure. So let's not cancel him.
Let's not cancel anyone here on the Guncles. But this is a great record. If you want to check out Will Butler's solo record,
I like canceling people. It makes me feel powerful.
Great. This is Toro
you like your power. Who? What?
This is Toro Imoy. This is a great record. What it is, he's kind of
it's a record. I want to say
hip hop, but
what? I said it's a record. That's what it is. You said what it is, and I was telling you
the name of it.
Oh, okay, I get it. All right, I don't.
Go ahead, please. Really, I love this guy. He's kind of like a DJ.
That's not sweet anymore, bitch.
Jesus,
the sweetness is gone.
Silly now.
Go ahead, Mikey. I'm rude. I'm ruining your life.
I was taking a deep breath, actually. Silver Sun Pickups, Better Nature. This is their best album. They are a cool band. Yeah, one of their members actually passed away, and
I didn't see that on the 2015 list.
Yeah, they haven't been the same since. But this is my favorite of their records. Better Nature.
Reissues again.
I don't think so. It's very possible.
Here, you continue. I will confirm.
I'm gonna continue. This is a band called Speedy Ortiz. This is for girls. They just rock. This is a great band. They're still together. This is Dear. What's it called? Dear something. I can't read the writing. But Speedy Ortiz, really cool band. They only have like 3 records out, but they still tour like crazy. You can catch them. They're always like in the small print in any music festival. You'll see them like on like one of the small stages. They're really cool. I saw them a couple of times in the small club, and they blew the roof off the place. Really cool band. What?
It came out that year, the Silver Sun Pickups.
Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome.
This is the Dead Weather.
Oh, the Dead Weather.
Yeah, Jack White, Alison Musset.
Okay.
Great record. This is the only Dead Weather record I really like. I love this.
I feel like I liked the one before, but
I liked it, but I really like this. This is
really good.
Yeah, it's excellent. I'm running
out of space. Alison, what's her head? Right? Moss Hart.
Yeah, Mossart from the Kills.
From the Kills. Oh, so good. The Kills.
I love the Kills. This is a band called Elvie. This is Return to the Moon. This is Matt Berringer from The National, the lead singer, and another guy. I forget what band he's from. The other guy, but this is a really nice record. Really, really soothing. Kind of his vocals are that deep voice and just really soothing, beautiful record. Nobody knows about that. I don't think anyone knows that came out. This is a band called The Vaccines. This is just fun.
The Vaccines, they're so great.
Fun rock and roll, 3-minute songs. This is called English Graffiti. This is their best record. I like this one the best, but you can't go wrong with any of their records. They're fun. They're upbeat. They're punk rock. Not even punk, British punk rock, I guess. A really good, fun record. I saw this band. This is Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys. This is a solo band called the Arcs. Kind of the same vein as the Black Keys, but he's got a full band. It's not just 2 guys. So it's got a thicker, richer sound. I like Dan Auerbach. I like his production. I think he's a really good producer. This is a terrific record. They have one other one, I believe, but this was the first one. And now we're getting... This is Churches. Great, fun, upbeat, awesome dance record. This Every Open Eye. This is their best record. The one that came after it's pretty good too, but this is excellent record.
They did that terrible song with Robert Smith.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So not good. It's like you get Robert Smith to sing a song with you, and it's crap. Who are you?
They are churches.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's chiverches, actually. Chiverches. Why do you have a V? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That bothers me. It's chiverches.
Now into the top 10. I pulled. This is Alabama Shakes.
Oh my God!
They're Color.
So good.
One of the great records of that year. I absolutely love it. I love her. I think her vocals are great. She never should have left the band.
Brittany Howard.
I don't really care for her solo stuff as much.
I like their first record better, actually.
This is a absolutely genius. Actually, this should be up higher. But these are my favorites of the year. This is D'Angelo. If you guys have not heard this record, Black Messiah, holy crap!
It's been a really long time.
This is a soul record. It's got a little hip hop in it.
And it's D'Angelo.
Jazz, and it's D'Angelo.
Is he the one where Craig was going on about the video? He's got his shirt on. It looks like somebody's giving him a head.
On about the video.
Yeah. This is a beautiful album. Absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend this.
D'Angelo.
Right?
And that voice. Ooh. How did
that voice
tell you how it feels?
No, it's a beautiful soul album, but it's got a little hip hop to it, and it's a wonderful record. This is Eels. This is Souljacker. This is my favorite Eels record. I love this record. Life Ain't Pretty for a Dog-Faced Boy.
I would have known they had an album out. Then I would have listened to that.
Yeah, no, this is their best. I think this is probably their most popular too. I think this was probably has been their biggest. So yeah, Eels, Souljacker. Guys mentioned this before. John Grant, Grey Tickles. What a great record. I love this. When this came out, Corey and I just played it constantly, just over and over. I love the.
Well,
I just didn't know what was going on. He didn't fucking murder the owls, did he?
That's kind of what it looked like to me.
That's what I always thought.
Is he an owl murderer?
That's not. You beat the owls to death with a club or something, or a mallet? I mean, that's.
Yeah, that's what I always guessed.
I don't know, John. He should.
I'm not getting that on vinyl. Then.
He should not be.
I've just canceled him.
Yeah, he should not be doing that to owls.
It's a terrific record. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Blame it on the Icelandics.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Owls
this is a woman. I absolutely adore this woman, and this isn't my favorite album of hers, but everything she does, I love. She's only got I think she's only got 4 records out. She hasn't released one probably since it's before the pandemic. She's Swedish. She's Swedish, but she's based out of France, and she never tours America. I cannot wait to hear. I want her to tour America. She's this is Josephine Oren and the Liberation. Really cool fuzz rock, punky. Richard, you would probably love this. I just adore her. It's very fuzzy, very very cool record. It's called what is it called? Something horses. Horse Dance, and it's great. I love all her stuff. Really, really cool Swedish artist. We're almost done. This is a band called Sons. This is Felt. I love this record. It's called Felt, and it's very electronic, psychedelic electronic music. Kind of droney. Excellent band. This is my favorite record of theirs. Gets a little jazzy. They kind of introduce some saxophone and some trumpet at some points, but it's really really good. 4 more. This is a great record. Nobody knows this came out either. This is Alan Vega and Alex Chilton and Ben Vaughn. This is Cubist Blues. If you like that minimalist kind of like Suicide. Really, really interesting music. This is a double record. It's got a lot of songs on it. But excellent. Very minimal sounding kind of punk rock. Wilco, Star Wars, considered one of their weakest albums. I consider it in their top 4 or 5. I love this record. It's different. really, really cool.
And the digital version, when it first came out, was free.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one we already know. And the last one, I just love this woman. It's Courtney Barnett. This album still, I put this on. I'm like, holy crap, she is just brilliant. She's a terrific guitarist. I've seen her live 2 or 3 times now, and she's great. Her band is great. All her albums are good. She's got 2 EPs and 3 albums now, and they're all great. They're all just really interesting, and I just love her. She's from Australia. Yeah, really cool. Courtney Barnett. And that's it.
If this is going to be a long video, how many people are going to be watching this at like 2 times the speed? And we're all talking like this. My favorite album of this year is this. But yeah, I don't know how this keeps happening. I looked at 2. I don't look at like people's top 15 lists or whatever because I don't want to be influenced by stuff like that. But what I do for these years is I go to Discogs and I look at the most collected and the most wanted albums from that year, and I go up to like 2,000 albums looking for. And I didn't see the Eels. I didn't see, what was that other one? There was another one that you had. Didn't see that one. It's like, where are these? This happens all the time. It's like, why are these albums like not in there?
I go into my collection and I type in the year, and I pull up, and I make sure it's not a reissue. Sometimes. Sometimes I do. And then so I'll go through that and I'll make a list of those, and then I'll go into like the top 200 of the year and go through those and see.
I go all the way up to 2,000 and did not
crazy.
see the Eels. Yeah. How did that happen? But anyway, yeah. So those are the tops of 2015. We're over an hour into the video, and it is all. It's still, we have all these bottoms left to go from 2015.
Well,
I think the bottoms are going to go quick. Yeah.
And
I don't know about that.
Well, you will probably be the longest.
Well, then I'll be quick. But Robert, you mentioned about all the self-referencing that was especially going on, with the solo albums from all the Beatles. So my bottom is it's not really a bottom; it's just a major disappointment, and that was Ringo's Postcards from Paradise. It was just a really disappointing album. And
you had high expectations.
He had an album in 2015.
You've heard like other Ringo albums, right? For like Bad Boy and Ringo's Rotogorv or whatever that is, the thing with the.
But we're talking about 2015, okay? So we're talking about the disappointment of 2015 for me, and that that's it. And that the title song, Postcards from Paradise, is nothing but a self-reference to all the different Beatles songs by either taking a title or a lyric, from the songs, and the entire song is just built on that. But the other
Ringo
song, Rory and the Hurricanes, is like, somebody wrote a comment on this about, I can't remember what. Oh, You Bring the Party Down. It was about that song. You Bring the Party Down. They're saying, Ringo's been sober for more than 30 years. He doesn't party anymore. So why is he singing about it? So whatever. I don't know if that's really.
Maybe he's the one that's bringing the party down.
Well, there's other ways to party.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to drink to party.
But anyway, that's my disappointment. My bottom. Postcards from Paradise. Just. I wanted to like it, but
yeah. I remember when that came out. Well, I didn't even. Yeah.
All right, Craig's bottoms.
I only have one bottom, and it's a doozy.
Uh-oh.
Ooh la la.
I don't get it, and why these songs become so popular. And everybody has to like them and think they're so great. And then we're gonna create a dance for it, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And so this person is Silento, I think Silento, and we're gonna watch him whip. You watch me whip, watch me nene, watch me whip, watch me nene. That's he said. Watch me whip. Why are you whipping and why are you neighing? And what the fuck does it mean when you're neighing?
I always used to get that confused. Wasn't there another song? I don't know if it was the same year, but it was around the same time about I whip my hair. I'm going to whip my hair. It was Willow
Smith.
Will Smith. I'm going to whip my hair. I'm going to whip and nay nay.
Yeah, I'm
I
whipping
prefer whip
the
it.
name. Yeah, whip it real good. But yeah, we could whip our hair back and
That's a
forth
share move,
real
right?
good and nay nay afterwards. But I don't know. Maybe he's shenanigans. I don't know. But it's terrible. It's garbage. And
It's for children, right? Pretty much. I mean, it's for little. It's
well,
advanced at
I
kids too.
mean,
You would
well,
think.
there's a lot of dirty words in it. So
When did that? Oh, wow, really? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, he's like a rapper guy or whatever.
Oh, I thought he was like a it's like a kids thing or oh, wow.
No, no,
Totally
no,
had the
no.
wrong idea about
It
like
was
what was that song where they move where Anna Nalick moves the cups around? I mean, it's just
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think that was from the same year, but it's that
Yeah,
kind of
that
thing
was-
where
yeah.
it becomes a fad for like
Mhm.
2 months or something.
I'm
Yeah.
doing it with the cups.
Yeah.
Get this in the glass and I'll break it. Okay.
All right.
Ready, Robert.
Oh, it's
Robert's
my turn. I
bottoms.
was thinking it was
Yeah.
Mike's turn. So yeah, I have several. They're not really bottoms. They're just where the printer changed the page. So these were just ones that didn't really make the top or the. But they're not awful. Again, it's 2015. I'm not going to listen to Kid Rock's album. I'm not going to listen to Adele 25. I already went off on 21. And by the way, thanks to everybody who commented on that video and backed me up on the Adele. You know, I thought I was going to get like hate for that, and people were like, "No, Adele was awful." So you know, like 3 or 4 people, yeah, you know, yeah, you did. That's cool, man. Thanks. Thanks,
Robert.
Marsha P. Thanks, as it should be. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we had King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Not awful, but not as good as their other one, the album Quarters. Like Richard was saying with the 4 songs. One of them was good. God is in the Rhythm. I like that, but the rest are kind of throwaway. Madonna Rebel Heart. It was better than I thought it would be. Just didn't make my tops, but it wasn't bad. I was kind of confused about one of the first songs on there where she's talking about. We can do acid. We can get high and smoke weed. We can do this. We can do that. But why don't we just dismiss all that and find Jesus, basically, or find God? It's like, aren't you the same woman that's now going to come out with an album called MDMA? Pick a lane. What the hell? It's all over the place. But yeah, it wasn't that bad. But obviously, it wasn't like her debut or Like a Prayer or something like that. Sleater Kenny, No Cities to Love. It was all right. I've heard you guys talk about Sleater Kenny, so I'm going to check that out. It just seemed very much the same throughout. There wasn't a lot of variety. It was like we're going to have this one sound and stick with it through the whole album. Iron Maiden, The Book of Souls. My God, this was going to be their epic album where every song is like, here's an 8-minute song, here's an 11-minute song, here's a 12-minute song, here's a 7-minute song, and it ends up being an hour and a half long. And some of the songs, like the last one, I could see being like an epic type thing, but there's way too much of we're going to have this gimmick of having extremely long songs on this album, so everything has, and some of them are just sprawled out way too much, and there's no reason for it. And the lyrics, not the lyrics, the vocals are just the same all the way through. Is that it just. He's pushing his voice right to the edge of that, and it's not working anymore. I'm not a huge Iron Maiden fan anyway. I like the Number of the Beast. I like the earlier albums before Bruce Dickinson, and I don't even care for Peace of Mind that much.
Yeah,
except for the Trooper, So I'm not a huge Iron Maiden fan. Coldplay, A Head Full of Dreams. It was okay. They definitely got better albums. This one was more straightforward pop and love songs. Marilyn Manson, I thought I'd check back in because I checked out around 2000 with them. I really liked Antichrist Superstar. I really liked the debut, Portrait of American Family. I thought that Mechanical Animals was pretty good, and then after that, it's like, oof, boom, bottom falls out, and I just kind of gave up on them. But so I listened to this one because it was supposed to be sort of a comeback, and it was just first couple of songs were interesting, and then after that, it's so boring. Mid-tempo and him with his voice like this for every song. It's like I will go back to Antichrist Superstar. I'm not into the Pale Emperor. Tame Impala, this was the #1 album on Discogs, most popular. More people have this than any other album from 2015. I found this in an antique mall in Memphis, along with a box of other records that were apparently, I would assume, Amazon returns, because they were newer stuff like this. and they were $8 a piece. I got the Best of Sade. I got Tedeschi Trucks. I got Lenny Kravitz 5, and an antique. I never saw that before. Never saw it again, and I saw this based on just the cover. This was probably 2019, maybe. So this album was only like 3-4 years old.
It's not a well-liked album among Tame Impala fans.
Well, I'm not even a Tame Impala fan, but I don't. It's okay, but it's definitely not album of the year. Or
I always thought that was one of their popular albums.
It's the most popular album of 2015. Go to Discogs.
Well, a lot of them sent it back.
This is the most popular album of 2015. So I don't share that sentiment. New Order, Music Complete. It's basic gay pool music.
It's B-sides. Yeah.
If you're at it is.
Yeah, it's B-sides and stuff that they left off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe so. Yeah.
That is exactly what it sounds like. It's music that you're at the gay pool, at the gay resort, and this is playing, and you're concentrating on something else, and this is just on in the background. You know what resort I'm talking about. Every time I hear music like that, that's what it reminds me of.
I know your resort.
We're at that
I didn't
pool and they're
realize that
playing.
came out that year.
Just kind of breezy, going along. Nothing to take your attention away from the guy in the Speedo. You know, that's what it is. And I made a mistake earlier. I talked about the OCs. What I meant was the front bottoms. They're the ones that had the awkward truth lyrics, where those are gone now. I got the front bottoms confused with the OCs. The front bottoms are the ones where I was disappointed in this one, because those great lyrics from the earlier albums are gone now, and it's just kind of quirky kind of stuff, but it doesn't have that biting kind of honesty that the earlier album from 2011 had. The front bottoms, not the OCs.
Yeah,
Brandon
I'm
Flowers
confused by a front bottom as well.
The front bottoms are a bottom?
Sort of. I mean, we're getting worse as it goes along here. Brandon Flowers from The Killers. You know, The Killers, Hot Fuss, one of the best albums of that year. I was looking forward to what... I hadn't heard this one before. So I was looking forward... You know, usually when somebody is in a band and they go solo, it's their time to really experiment and go way out, do their own thing, something that they were confined away from doing when they were in the band. But this guy's just going to do pop songs. And it was just kind of like, this is totally uninteresting pop songs. And I did catch the Bronski beat, Small Town, but it's like, now we're doing Small Town Boy. This is a total ripoff of Small Town Boy. He does like a couple of 80s sounding songs, but they don't have that 80s energy. It was not for me at all. And Prince, Hit and Run Phase 2. I definitely prefer Phase 1. This is more of a sort of jazz-like sounding thing. A lot of horns and stuff like that. And it sounds in the box. I don't know if it is or not, but it definitely sounds very, very in the box with the production. It sounds very sterile. It doesn't have any kind of like humanity to it, the music. And it's not... I definitely preferred Phase 1. A little more funk-oriented, a little more fun. This one, you know, again, it's Prince. He's taking a bath with somebody. You know, this is... Come is mentioned like in 6 different songs in various... You know, come, you know, I love it when she comes, and, you know, it's just, we get it. Come can be taken different ways. Man, come up with some different lyrics. For God's sakes, we're on 30 years of this. But, yeah, so Prince,
I just bought his album. I just bought his album, Come.
So did I.
Yeah, again, you know, had a whole album called Come, you know.
It's great.
An obsession with that word. It's like, but it's not a bottom, but it's not, you know, it didn't make my honorable mentions either. And where am I at here? So, and then Baroness Purple, kind of a harder band, but I didn't care for the vocals and a lot of the over-emotional type stuff in there. So as far as actual bottoms, and well, these aren't really actual bottoms, because these two aren't, because they're just not for me. It's like I said before, it's like trying to review Barney the Dinosaur or something. I'm a grown-ass adult. I'm not going to review Dora the Explorer. I remember being in my 20s and Barney fucking sucks, dude. Well, you're 25 years old. Maybe it's not for you. So that would be the one we reviewed earlier, Troye Sivan, Blue Neighborhood. That's not for me. That's for a young person that wants to hear some gay pop music. I appreciate what he does. You know, he does pop music and does it from a gay perspective, but it's just not for me. And this is funny. Halsey, which I thought was an alternative rock band. It is not. It is pure pop girl with her...
a little girl, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little girl, and her album is called Badlands. You should see me in my car turning that on going, what in the fuck? Okay, windows up, sunroof closed. Nobody can hear me listening to this. And yeah, it might be good pop music, but it's not for me. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not gonna be listening to Halsey. It's like Ariana, it's pop stuff. She's on there singing about, we're from the age of Biggie and Nirvana. We're gonna take over the world. Wah, wah. Hey girls, I'm like, oh my fucking God. So yeah, not a bottom, but not for me. Now these actually, I think I got 3 that are kind of more like bottoms, and Mike showed all 3 of them.
Oh,
Alabama Shakes.
Mike.
Wow. Sound and color from Alabama Shakes. Not a fan. Has all the elements you'd think I would like this soulful kind of like funky kind of. I am not a fan of those vocals at all. Wow, I was disappointed.
Brittany Howard is. Oh my God!
Wow,
Brittany
no,
Howard
that's a hard pass, and it just went on and on.
It's a long record, yeah.
Not for me.
Oh, I'm surprised by that.
The first record I like better
because it was so hyped up, and I was so ready, and it was like I remember hearing it like probably in 2016 for the first time, and just being like, "This is what no," and then I heard it again just to make sure, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure that's a no." Sutphin Stevens, Carrie and Lowell.
I'm not surprised by that.
I definitely wanted to do the Sutphin Stevens because he did a whole album about Illinois called Illinois, and broke down even Decatur and all these different like places that I know all about and have been to and had sex in.
That's a better album.
He
oh, bragging
about having sex in Decatur. That's a brag.
Yeah.
Okay. Hard to breathe in Decatur.
Could have been Peoria.
I think there was a song on that called Peoria.
Oh my goodness.
That was in a bar. Sutphin Stevens.
Nope.
No, not on the Carrie and Lowell. And the bottom of the bottoms, the worst is the name.
Disturbed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Priest?
I didn't listen to. That's one of the things I wanted to say too. There are worse albums than these. I'm not going to listen to Disturbed. I'm not going to listen to Kid Rock. I'm not going to listen to Maroon 5's album. I'm not going to listen to Adele 25. Maybe I already mentioned this, but yeah, I'm just so there are worse albums. These are just the ones I listened to, and the worst one was Church's "Open Every Eye."
About Buchanan, was that a minister?
No, 3. The Churches, the Sutphin Stevens, and the Alabama Shakes.
And Carrie and Lowell.
Carrie and Lowell is Sutphin Stevens.
And Disturbed.
I didn't.
No, he didn't. He just mentioned them.
I didn't listen to Disturbed.
But
I did interview them.
They
played our birthday party.
Happy birthday!
That was their first national show. Was our radio station's birthday party. But yeah, I did not care for the silly. I don't know. I thought it was silly. I couldn't wait for it to be over. Anyway, I don't do that.
Well, I can do my bottoms, and we can keep this under an hour and a half. I don't have any bottoms because, first of all, I've had COVID all week, and I didn't want to listen to music that sucked. Like Robert said, a lot of it just wasn't my interest. There was, a lot of the young poppy stuff, which I'm sure is awful, but it's not to me. I'm not the audience for that stuff, so I can't make that a bottom. There was a lot of, I don't know. I saw Madonna's Rebel Heart, and I know Madonna fans don't really care for that record, and I was like, oh, that's a bottom. And then I was like, wait, I don't want to.
This one does.
Okay. This dude did
a
Madonna album ranking and had it at number 3 or something.
It was like
listen to it, and then I was like, well, I feel like shit already. Why am I going to listen to this album? So I mean, that could be a bottom, but I don't know it all that well. So I don't have any bottoms.
I think we're going to run into the. I like the video with "Bitch I'm Madonna" and who is it? Is it Chris Rock that shows up in that? Like, "Bitch I'm Madonna." But
I think with the newer with 2000s and stuff like that, I think we're gonna have less bottoms because it's just there's so many genres that just don't appeal to us at our age.
Well, I think the reason is because in the 70s and 80s, especially being younger, we're exposed to music via the radio that we don't like, and MTV and all that we don't like. In the 2010s. You don't have that anymore.
Yeah,
you're only listening to music that you would be drawn to.
You're
not going to go out and go like, I'm going to give this Maroon 5 a chance. No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna listen to this album with this little girl on the front of it with a daisy in her hair. No, you're not, because you're gonna listen to something you want to hear.
The top 200 of 2015. I literally knew 10 of the records on there, I think. And the number one was somebody, I forget who it was. The number one, and I forget who it was, but I was like, well, I don't know that. Should I listen to it? And I was like, no, I don't want to listen to that. I know it's not my thing.
The only reason I had Bottoms in 2011 is because of what my particular radio station was doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of changing our format a little bit and trying to involve ourselves with a little more current pop music. It's an adult hits format, which is mostly 80s and 90s, a little bit of 70s, and then home run hits from the current. And we were trying to focus a little more on those in 2011, but it only lasted like a year and a half. We went back to not playing so much current stuff. And so that's the only reason that 2011, and then I'm going out to clubs and whatever, had all those, I knew some of the hits, but 2015, I don't know any. Like when Craig was talking about all those singles, I didn't really know any of those.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I noticed Craig's singles were less top 40 oriented
Than usual.
and more like personal taste type stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think we get more into that in the late 2000s where it's more about picking and Spotify and cultivating your playlists and sharing things with your friends, and it's less about turn on the radio and whatever's on is on. And oh my God, this song again! I can't stand this fucking song. That doesn't really happen a lot.
Yeah,
which is great. You don't have to have
I'm also
annoying,
not going to parties. I don't go to people's houses.
awful music in your head all the time.
Right.
Yeah, so that's our tops and bottoms for 2015.
What's coming up next?
I don't know. You tell us.
I think we've got the album review coming up later with what is it, the Boo Radleys or something like that, or the Bobby Soxers?
The Bobby Lees. The Boo Radleys. Bobby
Who
Soxers.
Radley? Who?
The Bobby Lees are coming up with an album review called Bellevue, and we're also going to talk about the top ranking of the Depeche Mode albums.
Yeah.
Which I think I've only heard
lot of
maybe
work.
they've got 14 albums, and I think I may
lot
have
of
heard
work.
5 of them.
Yeah, I got a lot
I
of
only
work.
have
This
on
is
three.
turning into a job that none of us are paid
Right?
for.
Yeah.
By
I
the way.
know that none of us have time
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose idea was all this? Can we go back to talking about topics?
Topics. Tell us about more dead people, Richard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our
Do
favorite dead
that.
people.
Our favorite dead people. Yes.
And what's the next year we're doing?
1995.
1995.
1995.
I'll have some bottoms for that year.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's when we were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that'll
will.
be bottom heavy.
Mhm.
Like a twink bar. Bottoms everywhere.
And on that note,
Yeah, we are the Vinyl Community Guncles.
We
Thank
are.
you so much for watching, and join us for all that fun coming up. Depeche Mode ranking, Bobby Lee's album review, and 1995 tops and bottoms. Once again, I'm Robert Fithen, along with...
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Oh, me. I'm next. I'm Craig at the Vinyl Plethora. I was ready for Mike to talk.
Mike at Uptune.
Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you'll see us again soon.
Ta-ta.
Hour and a half
Ta.
of this.
Mhm.